Hello, good evening, everyone. I welcome you to this amazing DevOps and AWS series, which we have planned from TechMia. So definitely, yes, this is gonna be a very wonderful series. Okay, we are gonna learn many things in this, right from the beginning of AWS Linux, all the way from Circle CI, CI/CD pipelines until the deployment part. Along with this, we will also have some kind of monitoring tools as well. So this is just an introductory session which we have planned for today's session. Okay, so I will be sharing my link, sharing my screen today, so that I can walk through the process. So what all the things that we are going to learn in this entire curriculum. So we have been starting this since last year, and due to some issues, we could not get it. But eventually, now we have resumed our EdTech sessions. So this will completely include DevOps and AWS. Okay, so we are gonna do theory as well as practicals. So basically, we'll be more focused on the practical training part because theoretical becomes boring. So I have planned some amazing stuff for these sessions. Okay, so let me share my screen. Yes, I guess my screen is visible. I welcome you all once again for this amazing session. First, let us see what DevOps is exactly. Okay, what DevOps and AWS Cloud is, and why DevOps is required in this AI domain or in this AI booming era. Okay, so basically, as we know that the DevOps is nothing but it is a combination of two words, that is development and operation. Basically, okay. So development is something which a team dedicatedly we have in the companies, IT companies, where their work is especially to develop the application. And we also have something called as operation team, whose basic work is to deploy the developed application into the production ready server or else in the real time server. Okay, so to facilitate this process or to reduce or to automate this process, there is something called as DevOps in the industry. So this DevOps is not a new concept anymore. It was launched way back around 2014 onwards, and it came into the picture during 2018-19 during COVID times. Okay, so now it is gaining much and much important. So why there is an increase in the demand for DevOps in the market? So basically, one thing is that okay, basically that the DevOps is basically there to reduce the friction between the developers and the operation team. One thing. Okay, why there was a need in the market? Okay, before DevOps came into picture, okay, there was nothing like DevOps culture in the market. Okay, the code that was built by the developers used to not run in the operation system or in the testing servers or in the testing system. Okay, in order because this problem existed before, though there used to be clashes between developers and the testers, and of course the operation part, because the code that is developed in one system, okay, cannot be run in another system unless the environment is met, complete environment is met. Okay, so in order to reduce this kind of friction in the companies and reduce the time period that was required to build the entire architecture, DevOps came into picture. Okay, there is one tool called as Docker. Basically, what Docker will do, it will take the image of the entire application in a container. Okay, I'll explain you each and everything when we deal with the further classes. So basically, we will containerize our application in a box. Okay, which will include your front end part, which will include your back end part, as well as database part. So we will containerize it, we will create the image out of it, and we will send that image to the testers or the production people. Okay, what they will do, they will just have to download Docker in their system and just run the Docker command. Okay, Docker run command, and the application will start running. There is no more need to install the dependencies and install the IDLEs, install the required software to run the project. Okay, after the invention of these tools, DevOps gained much and much importance in the IT companies. So that's why, in order to automate everything, okay, now we know that the manual things are getting replaced by the automation things. Okay, so DevOps is also called as automating things. Okay, basically it will automate the process of deploying your application right from the GitHub commit. Okay, if you just have to commit on the GitHub, and directly your application is built, application is tested, and application is also deployed in the production server. Okay, you need not do these things manually. Okay, after the invention of DevOps, these things became easy in the IT companies. That's why in today's generation or in today's days, learning DevOps is crucial. Okay, before there used to be DevOps has a person in the company. Now that the full stack developers are also required to learn DevOps life cycle. Okay, because this is something that cannot be replaced, and this has much more importance as we keep moving further in our next generations. Okay, so moving on to the next thing, we have something called as DevOps. As I told you, DevOps is not a methodology or it is not a process. It is a culture that is followed in the company. Okay, as I told you, there used to be friction between developers team and operation teams. So in order to minimize this efforts or minimize this kind of friction between both, DevOps came into picture. So it is also called as a cultural methodology. Okay, nothing but it is a culture that is followed in the companies. So you can answer this in the interview also. Okay, if somebody asks you what DevOps exactly is, DevOps is nothing but it is a culture that is followed in the company. Okay, one thing. What is the second part of DevOps? It is process automation. As I told you in the first slide itself, okay, DevOps completely deals with the automation. Okay, it will automate your software development life cycle right from the scratch. Okay, where you can easily follow your agile methodology, and definitely you can deploy your software at a very faster pace when compared to the traditional approach. Okay, third is the continuous flow. What does this continuous flow means? Okay, imagine there is some bug in your software. Okay, you need not do much thing. Okay, as a DevOps engineer, you should ask the developer to give the code and just commit it. That's it, and automatically the code is built again, the code is tested again, and the code is deployed again. So there is a continuity of the process. So this is called as continuous integration. Okay, you are integrating everything right from the scratch. Okay, right from the present part of it and deploying it in the production server. Okay, third, obviously it shortens the cycle. Okay, as we are using automation in this, okay, definitely the time required to build the application is lesser. So this is what it is. Okay, DevOps is nothing but, okay, in a build term, it is like you code it, you build it, you test it, release it, deploy it, operate it, and monitor. Okay, it is, as you see the sign itself says, it's the infinity sign. It is a continuous process. That's why it is called as continuous integration and continuous deployment or delivery. Okay, the sign itself tells you what DevOps exactly is. So we are gonna learn many tools in this master series. Okay, right from the Git. Okay, then we will learn Maven also, which is required to build the Java applications. Okay, we will use Gradle also. Okay, these are all build tools. Then we will use Selenium. Okay, we will use Sonar Cube, which is used for the testing the code. It will test for the code smell. It will test for the errors, bugs that are present in the code. Okay, then we will use, when we will learn configuration management tools such as Chef or Ansible. Okay, right now Ansible has a much demand when compared to Chef. Okay, so we are going to learn these things also. And for the continuous integration, definitely yes, we are going to learn Jenkins as a part of it, Circle CI. Okay, then when it comes to production, we have something called as Docker and Kubernetes. Okay, these process we will carry out both in our local system as well as in the cloud server. So these are many tools that are there in the market. Okay, right now I'm gonna list some top 32 tools have been mentioned here, along with Prometheus. Okay, Terraform. Now you might feel that there is too much. Okay, trust me, this is nothing. This is very easy. Okay, there is a replacement for this in the cloud also, where things have much become better in today's year. Okay, so don't get nervous looking at these kind of tools. These tools are very easy. Okay, these are just the tools that is used to facilitate the entire DevOps process. So coming to benefits of using DevOps, as I told you, it is a culture. Okay, please remember, it is not a methodology anymore. It is not a process. It is a culture that is followed in the company. Okay, first. Second thing is automation. Okay, having this DevOps thing, okay, you can definitely automate your complete continuous integration and continuous delivery, and also infrastructure as a whole. Okay, there is something called as focused learning, and time is not getting wasted much in the DevOps, because when you automate things, you are saving a lot of time, and this time can be used for the other things as well. Okay, So obviously, yes, when it comes to DevOps comes with the monitoring also. Imagine, I'll give you an example. Okay, during IPL, you must be seen that the famous cricketers like Virat Kohli and MS Dhoni, when they come to the field, the views automatically increases. Okay, who is there to take care of all these things? It is a DevOps engineer who will take care of scaling up the containers in which the server is deployed. Okay, scaling down the container in which the servers are deployed. So DevOps engineers plays a crucial role in the production servers also, in the operations also. Okay, they automate the thing. Okay, you have something called as auto scaling groups in AWS. Okay, you have something called as pods, auto scaling features, replication features in Kubernetes also. Okay, combining those things, these things becomes possible whenever there is an increase in the traffic. Okay, in any kinds of servers that are deployed, automatically the servers get scaled up in a very rapid way. Okay, third, obviously, yes, okay, DevOps has a huge demand. Okay, I would like to say in this generation of AI, and there is a fear that the AI will take your job. It is generally said that, okay, DevOps and cloud will be the last thing that the AI can replace. Okay, so right now the boom is there for DevOps and cloud. Obviously, with DevOps, we have something called as machine learning and operations also. Okay, they are also into picture. Then along with the machine learning, we have AI ops also. So there is a evolution in DevOps, AI ops, and machine learning as well. Okay, so there is something called as life cycle. We will see first, as we know, whenever we learn about whenever we get a project, okay, what we do, we plan the project. Okay, we bring the developers team, we bring the testers team, we have product owner, we have business analysts. Okay, they will gather requirement from the clients and they will document it in the SRS server, SRS document. Okay, first thing is planning. Second thing is obviously we have something called as coding. Okay, coding part is there definitely. Yes, once we plan the application, we have to code it also. So here the developers make a very good impact on these stages. Third is the build. Okay, once definitely when the code is built, we have to package it, compile it. Okay, when it comes to Java application, we have to compile it, and whatever output file we get, so for example we get jar file as an output file, so we need to store that jar file in the artifactory. Okay, for artifactory you have something called as JFrog. Okay, where you can store your artifactory for some time. It is kind of a repository. So we have testing also we have to do. So for the testing, we have unit testing. Okay, integration, performance, load testing, security, many things are there. Okay, here Selenium comes into picture. Okay, and automation testers comes into picture. Okay, the basic work of them is included in this stage. So next is the operation part. Okay, where you release your entire project. Okay, then you monitor, then you deploy your project. Obviously, once it is tested thoroughly and once the client is satisfied with your project, okay, now it is the time to release the project as well as deploy it in the production server. Third, obviously, yes, maintenance is there. So once the project is deployed, it is not just something. Okay, you have to follow the maintenance also. Okay, here the critical infrastructure and health all has to be uploaded. So last is the monitoring thing. Obviously, as I took an example of IPL, okay, whenever you build an application, you have to keep monitoring it as well. So that's what. Okay, so we are gonna learn many things. Okay, first we will see something about Jira ticketing tool. Okay, how it is exactly using the ticketing thing. Second, we are gonna use Jenkins, Maven. Okay, the building tools to build your application. So these are nothing but these are platforms that are required to build your application. Third comes the coding part. So whenever when you build or when you develop an application, you need some space where you can store all your codes. Okay, and it can maintain your versions as well. So for this task we are going to use GitHub. Okay, GitHub and Git. Okay, for containerization and testing we are going to use Docker, Kubernetes, and SonarQube. Okay, so as I told you, okay, there is something called as additional advanced concepts in DevOps. Okay, for example, we have something called as configuration management tool. So we are gonna learn Ansible for that. So if I have to explain you configuration management tool in a nutshell, it is simply deploying a script, okay, or deploying a code in a multiple server. Okay, for example, I'll take a simple example. Your phones get an update every time. Okay, update for the latest version, okay, or else WhatsApp you get updates, okay, this release has been deployed, okay. So who does that? So we have something called as configuration management tool. Writing one script will deploy entire project in the multiple servers, okay. This is called as configuration management tool. So you will immediately get an update in your phone. So second, we have something called as infrastructure as a code. Okay, it is simple as nothing but, so infrastructure is nothing but a cloud architecture we can take, we can consider. We have something called as AWS, okay, Azure, GCP. So where we can automate our application using infrastructure as a code. So we write a code where the task that has to be done in AWS or in any kind of cloud providing softwares get automatically built. Okay, you need not go and click the buttons. Okay, using code you can definitely build the pipelines. So this is something called as infrastructure as a code. So for this we make use of Terraform and CloudFormation templates. Okay, so write a code, it will automate the process in the cloud providers also. Okay, you need not go and manually create a machine, manually build the machine, okay, deploy it in the production. Okay, just write the code and things are automated. Okay, this is the beauty of having DevOps into today's generation. Okay, then we have something called as continuous deployment. Okay, as I told, okay, imagine that you have developed an application and you have deployed it in the server. Okay, now that what you have to do is like there is some kind of bug or some kind of update that is required. So again, instead of taking it out from the server, what we can do, we can create one more pipeline which will basically build on the existing things. Okay, we can basically update the code and we can freshly deploy it in the server. So this is called as continuous deployment. So the process can be made continuous. Obviously, monitoring and logging. Okay, for when it comes to monitoring, we will learn Prometheus, Grafana, and Loki. Okay, these are basically required to monitor your application or monitor your servers, which is deployed in the real time. Okay, obviously, yes, monitoring is highly required. What if there is some kind of load? Okay, lot of traffic is there. Okay, you then you have to scale your application. Okay, in order to scale up and scale down, you have to study about monitoring tools, so where you can monitor your CPU matrix, not just CPU matrix, okay, load matrix. For this we will make use of Prometheus, Grafana, and other tools that are present. Okay, so coming to cloud, okay, why DevOps comes with the cloud? Basically cloud is nothing but it is a platform, okay, on which you can perform DevOps. Simple as that. Okay, cloud will provide you all kinds of service. Okay, what it will do, it will provide you every service that are required to build an application, to test an application, and deploy an application. So in order to study DevOps, okay, we have to study about cloud as well. Okay, without cloud we definitely cannot deploy your applications. So cloud is nothing but it is a platform provider, okay, above which you can perform your DevOps cycle. Okay, that's why we are gonna use cloud. So why AWS now? Okay, since AWS holds 31% of market share in the IT companies, so we are studying AWS itself. Okay, and it coming to AWS, you will have some dedicated sessions also included. So for now, it is like using AWS has a platform, okay, to facilitate the DevOps process. Obviously there are some kinds of AWS services which will help you build your applications in DevOps, using DevOps. Okay, something like code commit, it is a replacement of GitHub. Okay, you have code built, okay, nothing, something like Jenkins. Okay, then you have code deploy also. Deploy, you can deploy it in the EC2 instance, it's like Docker. Okay, pipeline is there, again it's like mimicking to be a Jenkins itself. And you have cloud formation templates, it is like infrastructure as a code, like how we have for Terraform. Okay, so there are replacement of tools which are traditionally which are using DevOps into the cloud provider softwares also. So benefits of DevOps, as I told you, okay, you can scale your application, it is highly reliable. Okay, in security terms, it is also good. And of course, when it comes to cost efficiency, it is best in the market. Okay, so as I told you, we are gonna start the session tomorrow onwards properly. Okay, we will first start with the Linux part. Okay, we will see how to create EC2 instance. So before we begin, I want each and every one of you to have your own AWS account. Okay, we will learn about Linux, then we'll learn about shell scripting, then GitHub. Okay, then we will move on to Jenkins and Ansible, Terraform. Many more things are there. Okay, so we are going to complete entire DevOps syllabus in this master series. Okay, so stay tuned for tomorrow's class. Okay, definitely yes, we are going to to do much and much more. We are going to learn much and much more and more things in this entire journey. So I want everybody's cooperation into it so that we can make this master series a successful one. Okay. So with this, I conclude today's fundamental introduction on DevOps. Okay, I want each and every one of you to study more about the DevOps session. Okay, you can use some kind of Google tutorials and all those things and understand more about DevOps. Okay, with this, I will conclude. Okay, thank you so much for the session.